Okay. So that's the various morphosyntactic properties of ta and inTimucua that I wanted to point out to you. And now I want to show some similarities between these properties of inTimucua ta and a suffix that's found in Proto-Muskegean, t, which is a same subject morpheme which links verbs together. And here I'll mostly compare it to what I call a participial ending in Choctaw is t suffix. Okay. Following analysis of Pam and Rowe, I'll treat t as a relic of a same subject marker which no longer contrasts with a different subject marker in Choctaw. In Choctaw, this t is used to link main verbs with each other. For example, in number 26, Bashlet Kanakhalito means I cut it down. And here we link the verb to cut and to fell. And notice that the person marking and the tense marking are on the final verb in 26 and not on the verb marked with t. Another example of that is shown in 27. We also find the Choctaw participial suffix t on main verbs that are followed by auxiliaries, and then the inflection appears on the auxiliary. So number 28, John ate it up, John up at Tahalito, John up at Tahali, where the main verb is apa followed by the t participial, and then a completive auxiliary tahali. Number 29 shows that if we have an auxiliary like tahali, the person marking inflection and the tense marking inflection are on the auxiliary. So number 29, Yoshit Hakitahalito, he ran us all off. Now in Choctaw, when you add this suffix to a verb, very frequently you get some sort of phonological reduction of the verb. So in the chart at the bottom of page 9, I've shown you some verbs in their shortened form. A very frequent one of these changes is loss of the affix leave, which is a marker of transitive verb stems. We also sometimes get less usual forms shown in number 32 on page 10. So for example, the verb pisa, to see, has a shortened form pis, and the verb to rise, wakaya, has a shortened form wakat. So sometimes we get loss of a final syllable, as in wakaya, sometimes loss of a final vowel, as in pisa. We find this also in other Muskegean languages. We find the T, number 33, shows an example from Cree, and number 35 shows us we also get shortened forms of verbs before this T suffix in other Muskegean languages. 35 shows some examples from Alabama, where the verb illa, arrive here, has a shortened form ilt before the T suffix. So just as in inTimucua, Proto-Muskegean must be reconstructed with a pattern in which a number of the most frequent verbs show truncated stems before T. So just to conclude, I've given two previous papers on inTimucua, one on person marking, one on auxiliaries. I think that in combination with those two previous things, this work on top shows aspects of the morphology of inTimucua that are rather strongly reminiscent of things that are found in Muskegean and in other Gulf languages. So I think that this analysis supports the proposals of Swanton, Haas, and Crawford for genetic links between inTimucua and Gulf, while casting doubt on any South American connection. Thank you.
We have time for questions. I have a question. It's about the conditional auxiliary.
Mm-hmm.
I think it seems a little bit odd. I mean, I'm not frightened, but it seems a bit odd that there's a conditional auxiliary. And one thing that I noticed was that the QE and QUA forms that you have for that also occur at the end of your noun suffixes, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts on that? I was wondering if this could be related to some verb be. That was what was in my mind.
Yeah, that sounds very plausible, in fact. Although, if you look at the corpus, it seems like the best translation of this qua thing is if. I I would think that given the way it behaves like an auxiliary, it must have some origin in a verb. I haven't identified any verb in the Timucua that's acting that way, but that seems like a very likely source. Because otherwise it seems very peculiar to me that you inflect the thing that means if. It seems a peculiar possibility.
Well, as you know, but possibly there are people here who don't, in Western Muscogee anyway, you use verbs be to say both if and, to create articles.
Mm-hmm.
And so it seemed like a possible connection. Can you tell us how you say, is there a copula?
It's something like ka, usually.
Ka might be connected with all of that, too.
It might be, yeah. There are many puzzles in Timucua. Eventually, some of them may be resolved.
We can lay the Wallace-shaped load of guilt on you, too.